The courtroom falls silent, papers rustle, a single gavel pounds, and Kody Brown's empire, carefully built over decades, is about to crumble in front of his own eyes. Robyn clutches her notes, panic flickering across her face, while the judge leans forward, voice cutting through the tension. Everything you fought for is gone. If you think you know what betrayal looks like, think again. Today, the Brown family will face a reckoning that no one saw coming. The day starts like any other in the tiny Utah town, with the sun streaming golden light over the desert hills. But within the cold, imposing walls of the court building, a storm is building, and it's going to strike Kody Brown and Robyn with hurricane force. The atmosphere is heavy with tension, a blend of fear, anticipation, and a weird sense of inevitability. All know that this day can change everything. Kody is at the front, hands crossed tightly, jaw rigid. Robyn wriggles next to him, scrolling through her perfectly ordered notes, one final time. There's a strained serenity in her sitting, but there's a glint of nervousness in her eyes. Over by the other side of the room, Meri, Janelle, and Christine sit together, their faces a mixture of contained happiness and guarded optimism. The dynamics have changed. For years, Kody has held the narrative, the choices, the family finances, but today, those tenuously grasped strings are unraveling, and his own wives are quietly getting ready to take back the power that he has so long misused. The judge clears his throat, and instantly, the silence of the courtroom is audible. Kody looks up, and for the first time in years, doubt creases his face. He's never come here before. Not like this, not with it all on the line. Robyn edges closer, says something in his ear, but Kody hardly catches it. His head is spinning, the worst-case scenario racing through his thoughts, while he clings to a dying hope that somehow, miraculously, the result could possibly be in their favor. Is this the time that will eventually break up the Brown dynasty? Stick with me, for what follows is a shock even for most die-hard fans. The lawyers stand, holding piles of evidence that have been carefully compiled over months. Every page, every email, every accounting sheet is a tool directed squarely at Kody's grip on the family. The courtroom lights dance off shiny surfaces, creating long shadows that are nearly symbolic, an added visual reminder of the lies and secrets that have been concealed in the family's carefully constructed facade. As testimony commences, the tension is heightened. Janelle's tone slices through the room, with crisp accuracy, detailing fiscal manipulations that Robyn had believed were safe. Christine sits forward, her eyes burning, revealing mismanaged accounts, concealed expenses, and undocumented transactions that reveal a family in the grip of one man who made his ambition a greater priority than loyalty, than honesty, than his own wives. Kody fidgets in his seat. Robyn's face sets, the color draining as the proof is unveiled. Each accusation, each carefully documented betrayal, strikes like a hammer to the head. And with every word uttered in that courtroom, the authority they once believed unbeatable starts to fade. The initial call to testify shakes Kody to pieces. A former financial planner, years silenced by non-disclosure statements, comes forward. His voice is steady, nearly scripted, but heartbreakingly direct. "Mr. Brown," he states, his eyes fixed sharply, "your management of this shared property was not just deceptive, it was deliberate. The choices you made, in isolation, cost the other members of your family millions." Robyn's grip on the table edge constricts. Her heart pounds. For so many years, she believed she was protecting the children and herself from the blowback. Now, she realizes the way the secrecy web has trapped her as well. She looks at Kody, his face is white, mask of calm shattering. He can no longer pretend the obvious. Walls of his empire are crumbling, and the cracks are running deep. All the secrets Kody believes are buried are rising to the surface. Is it possible for him to fight back? Or is the road over for the Brown family's most polarizing couple? The courtroom drama intensifies as Meri takes the stand. Her voice is steady, calm, but there's a fire underneath. A quiet fury that only those who've been wronged can summon. For years, she says, we've lived under promises that were broken, finances manipulated, and loyalty tested. Today, justice isn't just about money. It's about truth. The film-like commentary in your head would catch every flutter, every little movement. Kody's rubbing his temple, attempting to keep himself under wraps. Robyn's tapping her fingers impatiently on her papers. Christine sharing a knowing look with Janelle, tense but full of meaning. It's a wordless exchange, one that betrays more than anything that has been said out loud in the room. And then, the first bombshell. The judge asks for a full examination of a secret account, an account Kody thought nobody would ever uncover. The room gasps, papers shuffle. Robyn's mouth drops in shock, seeing that even her meticulous supervision wasn't enough to shield them from the secrets that have now surfaced. The proof is before us: offshore accounts, mysterious transfers, huge amounts never revealed. All the members of the Brown family are affected, and the courtroom crackles with tension, every gaze fixed on the man who has held so much power for so long. This isn't simply a case of money. It's one of betrayal, power, and the coming apart of a life artificially built. And it keeps getting worse. Kody settles back, jaw clenched. For the first time, he is overcome by fear instead of anger. Robyn tries to reach out and comfort him, but even she realizes that the ground they have established is eroding. The attorneys press on, each new fact driving them further into a corner, the courthouse shadows deepening as the truth unravels. Outside the courtroom, rumors swirl through the courthouse. Everyone here is aware. The Brown family, their wealth, their power, and their secrets are being tried. And by the end of this day, everything will be different. The session ends with the end of the first day of testimony, the gavel coming down like a beat. The families exit in silence, but the air is still charged, heavy and constricting. In the parking garage, Kody grumbles to himself, a flash of vulnerability. How did it come to this? Robyn, usually calm, gives way to a momentary look of uncertainty. They believed they could dictate terms, defend their empire, and insulate themselves. But today, the first domino has toppled, and the others are about to follow. The judge requests a chambers session, vowing to hear the full measure of damages. The early morning sun just grazes the courthouse as Kody and Robyn pull up. But in the building, the atmosphere is thick, near choking. Yesterday's tension hasn't dissipated. If anything, it's grown thicker, weighing down all of them like an umbrella cloud. Kody moves with a stiff, arcing posture, his face a mask of restraint, but his eyes revealing a hidden terror. Robyn accompanies him, holding her notes, a smile fixed in place, but shaking slightly at the fingers. Both of them know what is to come. The next batch of revelations could ruin them completely. The courtroom hums with hushed rumor. The public gallery is full, reporters, relatives, and some stalwart friends all sitting there to see the Brown Empire disintegrate in front of their very eyes. Each look, each gesture appears to be amplified in the harsh fluorescent lighting. The judge appears, quiet, falling like a heaviness over the room. He doesn't even sit. He simply looks around the courtroom, eyes narrowing at Kody and Robyn. There is no compassion here, no reluctance, only truth, and its repercussions that will ensue. The morning starts with the testimony of a longtime family accountant. His tone is measured, calculated, each word cutting through the tension. Brown, he says, gesturing toward Kody, you signed transfers of more than $2 million without notice or approval of the other members of the family. Those steps are not only deceptive, they're illegal. Robyn's fists grip her papers. Her heart races. For years she had thought she could trust Kody's decision. She trusted him with money, with protecting the family. But now, she feels the chill, nauseating awareness that she might have been when trust falls apart, even the strongest ties are broken, and nothing Kody and Robyn took for granted is secure any longer. Hey, Christine leans forward, her eyes fixed and unblinking. Her voice is level, but the undertone of accusation is not to be missed. Kody's behavior was intentional. Every move, every economic decision, was made to benefit him only. Robyn may have tagged along, but she cannot deny that these actions have plunged the family into jeopardy altogether. The imagination camera traces the nuanced responses. Kody's jaw clenches, neck veins bulging as if straining to contain an overflow of emotion. Robyn swallows, her eyes flashing toward the judge, silently begging for mercy, for compassion. But in this courtroom, there is no compassion. Only facts, evidence, and the harsh glare of every error. The atmosphere shifts suddenly as the next witness is called. A former family insider, someone who has seen the Brown household from within. His voice carries the weight of experience. And when he speaks, it's like a hammer striking the foundation of Kody's carefully maintained facade. I've watched promises made and broken, lies hidden behind smiles, wealth accumulated at the expense of transparency and fairness. Today, the consequences of these actions are undeniable. Robyn flinches. She knew Kody had his flaws, but hearing them articulated so bluntly, so publicly, shakes her to the core. Kody's composure begins to falter, his usual confidence replaced by a quiet, simmering panic. For the first time, the man who has always projected control feels exposed, vulnerable, and dangerously alone. And then there is the first heated fight of the day. Janelle stands up, her words firm, near to trembling with passion. Kody, we trusted you. We went where you directed us, believing you had our best interests in mind. But you have broken that trust. You have put us, your family, at risk. And Robyn, how could you have let this occur? Robyn's lips compress into a thin line, her eyes flashing with a combination of guilt, defensiveness, and helplessness. Her mouth opens in an attempt to explain, but words fail. The room closes in on her, the pressure of accusation bearing down like a physical mass. Even Kody, her husband, falters for an instant, the first fissures appearing in his unbreakable mask. Ready? When loyalty is put to the ultimate test, even the most profound of bonds can disintegrate before our very eyes. As the evidence mounts, the proof gets stronger and stronger. Emails, ledgers, and clandestine contracts are projected on huge screens, each one more incriminating than the next. The tension is palpable, the once closely guarded Brown family secrets now exposed for the world to see. Kody's face clenches with each discovery. Robyn's hands tremble as she sees the magnitude of the situation. The legal strategy is disintegrating, the protective walls they had counted on shattering upon examination. The emotional high point comes when Christine tells a very personal story, one that shows the human cost of Kody's choices. Her voice breaks a little, a rare show of weakness, but it makes its point. I've seen our family struggle with the burden of decisions made without thought. This isn't about money. It's about betrayal, trust, and the loss of what we used to call family. The courtroom is hushed, the gravity of her statements suspended in mid-air. Robyn's eyes brim over with tears, her trembling lips, as she struggles to hold back composure. Kody remains frozen, a man bereft of agency, faced not just with procedural hurdles, but with the emotional fact of the destruction he has unleashed. Then, the surprise. The secret documents no one saw coming. A suspicious folder is advanced, marked with only Kody's initials. The room gasps in unison as the documents are revealed, showing secret financial moves, hidden accounts, and dubious transfers Robyn herself wasn't aware of. A ripple of shock runs through the courtroom. Kody blanches. Robyn's eyes go wide with shock. The judge sits forward, his voice measured but unyielding. This evidence expands the scope of your liabilities. You have to account for each transaction. All the secrets that Kody believed were kept hidden are now out. How are they going to weather the storm that's coming? Robyn leans in close to Kody, saying something barely audible. He shakes his head slightly, the burden of guilt and fear heavy on his face. They had believed they could outsmart the system, guard themselves, and come out unscathed. Now, reality bites, hard, cruel, and unrelenting. The testimony becomes emotional as Meri speaks, describing how the children and the larger family have been affected by Kody and Robyn's decisions. Her voice is firm, but each word is heavy with open emotion. This isn't about spite. This is about the truth. The children deserve honesty. They deserve security, and you have taken that from them. Robyn's fingers are interlaced so tightly that her knuckles are white. Kody's jaw quivers. The tension is about to burst. Each carefully chosen word cuts like a knife through the shreds of their meticulously constructed existence. The courtroom walls reverberate with the weight of the moment, the last pieces of the jigsaw falling into place. As the evening winds down, the judge adjourns for a momentary recess, which leaves Kody and Robyn sitting at their table alone. The room is silent, punctuated only by the sound of papers shifting and the soft clicking of a wall clock. Robyn breathes slowly, staring at the table, attempting to stabilize. Kody glances up, and for the first time, the bravado, the cocky grin is gone. Only the stark reality of what is about to ensue. The judge has teased an ultimate explosive bombshell to be dropped when the court resumes. Kody and Robyn exit the room, but with each step, there is the sensation of tiptoeing across a tightrope above an abyss. One misstep, one error, and all they have ever known, all that they have commanded, may be lost forever. The courtroom itself seems tighter than normal, full of a tension so palpable that it almost appears to have heft. Kody Brown and Robyn sit beside each other, faces white, fists clutching the smooth oak table. Outside, the sun shines and the world is peaceful, but inside, a tempest brews, one that could never be lessened by preparation. Today, secrets that have lain hidden for decades will burst forth, and nothing, not riches, not privilege, not fidelity, will be left unscathed. The judge enters unceremoniously, his robe trailing behind him, his eyes narrowed. He doesn't look at any one person, and yet the room is examined. Kody swallows hard, attempting to keep himself together, but the telltale tremble in his fingers gives away his desperate fear. Robyn looks at him, her mouth compressed into a thin, tight line, concern flashing in her eyes. They both prepared themselves for today, but reality is always worse than expectation. The morning's first witness is an unexpected one, a past business partner, who had quietly watched Kody's machinations over the years. The man's eyes are firm, steady, but his words strike like thunder. "Kody Brown," he says, voice measured, "you built a network of control that centralized power and specifically excluded those closest to you. You may have trusted his judgment, Robyn, but you were all part of this framework, and now all of you will have to pay the price." Robyn winces, her eyes blur as a tide of guilt sweeps over her. For so long, she had trusted Kody, obeyed him unquestioningly, assuming that he always put the best interests of the family first. Now she comprehends the extent of manipulation, and the individual betrayal that lay behind each choice. When those close to you are made instruments of betrayal, even loyalty becomes a trap. Will Kody and Robyn make it through this revelation? The courtroom falls into a tense silence as the next bombshell is revealed. Janelle, normally composed, rises and walks toward the stand, her voice trembling with controlled rage. "For years we've been told that the family's finances were secure, that every move was made to protect us. But the truth is that Robyn and Kody acted alone in secret, diverting funds, creating hidden accounts, and jeopardizing the stability of everyone else." Robyn gasps, hand shooting to her mouth. Kody's face sets, a vein beats in his temple. He attempts to speak, to interrupt, but the judge's gavel smashes through the silence. "Let the witness finish." Janelle's words strike like a hammer. Each accusation, each piece of presented fact, is a personal affront, but the courtroom holds its breath, enthralled. This isn't merely legal drama, it's war of hearts, of trust, of moral accountability. Christine leans forward, her eyes shining with gratification, but mixed with an underlying sorrow. She wanted reconciliation without public embarrassment, but the truth cannot be suppressed. Kody leans back in his chair, muttering something to Robyn. She dips her head nearly imperceptibly, the burden of guilt crushing itself down upon her, with each successive moment. The walls of their empire are beginning to crack, and each fragment reveals further fracture, hidden until now. The judge requests the folder of evidence that was introduced quietly the day before. The documents are spread out, exposing transactions, emails and contracts that Kody and Robyn had not expected would ever see the light of day. Offshore accounts, big transfers and unstated dealings. The scope of the deception is breathtaking. The courtroom buzzes, a low hum of disbelief, suspended in the air. Robyn's hands shake as she thumbed through the pages. She speaks in a barely audible voice. When she finally does, "I didn't know about some of this," but the words ring hollow in comparison to the sheer volume of what has been discovered. Kody sits in stunned silence, gritting her teeth, mind reeling. All the strategies, all the machination, all the minutely constructed plans have crumbled beneath the weight of the proof. In a world where all secrets come to the surface in the end, can the Browns save anything from the wreckage of their king? The tension builds as the courtroom shifts to the personal testimony. Meri describes vividly the emotional cost of Kody's choices, talking of late nights, fights, and the private fears that have tormented the family. Her tone is cutting, but her voice holds a quiet sorrow, a testament to the love lost in betrayal's shadow. "We were told we were family," she states, "but family is not manipulated or deceived. It is supported, respected, and defended. You have failed us in every way." Robyn's eyes brim with tears. Kody's hands shake ever so slightly. The courtroom is charged with emotion, and the audience can feel it.
the very real tension, the fear, the rage, and the heartache that has suffused decades of their lives. Abruptly, Christine's voice pierces the thick air. There's more, she continued, pushing a folder across the judge's bench. Evidence even Robyn didn't realize was there. It reveals pattern, repeated trying to control, to manipulate, and to hide from the rest of. The time for apologies is over. Kody pales. Robyn gulps, understanding that even her best monitoring couldn't shield them from secrets now free. All of their secrets, all of their hidden files, all of their secret accounts, are being picked apart under the harsh light of the courtroom. The emotional climax comes as the judge sets out the possible ramifications. On the evidence before me, it seems that Mr. Brown's actions, and by extension Miss Robyn's supervision, have put the whole family's financial well-being at risk. This court will not stand for trickery or manipulation. Restitution in full and accountability will be demanded. Robyn slumps against her shoulders. Kody's hands wrap so tightly around the table's edge that the wood groans. For the first time, the facade of control that has characterized their lives is stripped away. The empire they spent decades creating is crumbling before them, and there is no return. Walls of control disintegrate, and betrayal's price becomes horribly tangible. How low will Kody and Robyn go?
The session concludes on a dramatic note when, in a surprise move, a longtime family confidant, one who has maintained silence for years, walks into the courtroom. The courtroom takes a collective breath. All eyes are on the door, all hearts racing with anticipation. The judge gives a nod, and the witness a signal to begin, and the silence of the courtroom bears down on the enormity of what is to be said. Your Honor, the witness begins, voice calm yet carrying an undeniable weight. I've been silent for too long. What I'm about to say will change the course of this case and expose truths that could destroy Kody and Robyn completely. Kody crouches forward, a flicker of fear crossing his face. Robyn's hands tremble as she clutches the table. The audience can sense the tension, the suspense, the inexorability of the revelation. Every word uttered here will alter everything. The witness clutches a single folder in his hands, a folder Kody believed had been incinerated. Slowly opening it, the room becomes quiet. The papers inside are the documents that might ratify the worst fears of the Brown family and render Kody and Robyn penniless. The camera would take a moment to linger on their faces, pale, tense, and dreading the unthinkable. The courthouse seems tiny, the walls nearly closing in on them as Kody and Robyn walk in after a brief recess. The air is charged with tension, all eyes upon them. The Utah sun beats down normally outside, but inside the mood is somber, heavy with the understanding that today, years of secrets are about to burst. Robyn's fingers grip her notes so tightly that they're white, and Kody's normally assertive stance is rigid, almost brittle. The judge comes in, his presence commanding instant quiet. He doesn't glance around the room, his eyes bore directly into Kody and Robyn, a silent warning contained within the intensity of his stare. This session, he starts, will show the entire scope of unreported activities and the repercussions that attend. Kody breathes quickly, trying to compose himself, but it collapses at once when the first of the shattering pieces of evidence is presented. A trail of unauthorized bank transfers of more than $3 million sliding quietly from accounts Kody believed were secret. Robyn blanches, her hands shaking as she flips through the pages, recognizing the scale of what has been uncovered. Each line is a testimony to lies, manipulation, and the tenuousness of control. When hidden truths emerge, even the strongest partnerships can crack, and sometimes shatter completely. The courtroom is silent, the tension palpable. Meri leans forward, her voice steady but heavy with accusation. Kody Robyn, you've built a life on the illusion of trust, but today, that illusion ends. Every hidden transaction, every secret decision has consequences. And the rest of us, we've been left to pay the price. Robyn's eyes well up with tears. Her brain whirs as she understands that for all her efforts to control, to manage, to guard, she has been caught out. Kody's hand glides against hers for an instant, a momentary link in the maelstrom. But even their relationship seems tenuous under the sheer force of revelation. The courtroom observes the dynamic changing, the empire they constructed gradually disintegrating under the unrelenting force of reality. Christine stands up next, her voice cold but the words dripping with years of contained anger. For too long, Kody had control of everything. The money, the choices, the children. Robyn, you decided to follow. Following does not excuse you. The harm that has been done cannot be denied, and there needs to be some accountability. Kody adjusts uncomfortably in his seat, his jaw clenched, thoughts whirling. He's been the master manipulator for decades, running the show, the family, the money. But today, all of his skillfully built walls are laid bare as weak, damaged, and inadequate. Robyn's voice breaks as she tries to get a word out, but the gravity of the courtroom, the testimony, and the emotional toll crushes her. When the walls of authority collapse, even the most ardent followers can weaken, and the Brown dynasty hangs by a thread. Then the revelation that no one had expected. The Session 3 witness opens the long-abandoned folder, and papers emerge that Kody had thought were destroyed forever. Hidden agreements, unauthorized transactions, and clandestine contracts materialize on the table, each one a knife thrust into the heart of the Brown dynasty. Gasps make their way around the courtroom. Kody's face goes white. Robyn's hands tremble furiously, the truth of exposure too great to conceal. The judge hunches forward, voice low but sharp. These papers verify persistent efforts to hide financial activity from family members. The court interprets these actions as manipulative and intentional. There will be consequences. A buzz ripples through the courtroom public gallery. Journalists write furiously. Flash guns pop, and the family are subjected to the full glare of public examination. Kody remains motionless, his eyes fixed on the documents in front of him as if trying to make them vanish. Robyn, normally calm, cracks. A lone tear runs down her cheek, giving away the turmoil within. Meri rises again, her tone soft but sharp. This isn't vengeance, it's truth. For years we've lived in uncertainty, not knowing where loyalty ends and deceit begins. Today the veil is lifted, and the reality is devastating. The emotional burden in the room is almost too much to bear. Each word sounds like a blow against the foundation Kody created, now exposed to be shaky. Robyn's chest rises and falls as she gasps for air, her hands trembling, and for the first time Kody appears not only defeated, but human, bare, vulnerable, and afraid. When decades of manipulation come apart in a moment, the consequences are greater than monetary. It's intensely personal, and excruciatingly public. The courtroom drama begins to heat up as Janelle takes center stage with a form of testimony that gets directly at the heart of betrayal. Robyn, she states, voice shaking, you might have believed that you were guarding the family, but your silence promoted dishonesty. Every decision, every move made in collaboration with Kody has left the family broken. And now we have to confront the reality. Robyn's eyes well up further, her lips trembling. She opens her mouth to reply, but the burden of accusation, guilt, and hopelessness stops her words. Kody gets closer, hissing urgently, but even he cannot come up with answers. The tightly woven story they held onto is lost, replaced by an unyielding harshness. Nothing they've done can reverse the harm. Next, the most jaw-dropping of all, is an internal memo, unearthed only days before the trial, outlining monetary decisions Robyn herself had not realized were made by Kody. It's plain now. He had been working in webs of deception, keeping even Robyn out of the loop. The court reads the document aloud, line by line, each section a killing blow to their believability. Kody's face is white, near gray. Robyn's tears stream now, a blend of guilt and fear, and the overwhelming sense of betrayal. The judge looks around the room, taking a moment for the seriousness of the moment to be absorbed. The court is aware of the emotional pressure this discovery imposes. He pronounces, voice controlled, but the law dictates otherwise. There must be accountability. When betrayal runs deepest, even the most intimate alliances can break, and the damage can be irreparable. The hearing approaches its conclusion as Christine gives the last testimony for the day. She tells of the emotional aftershock of Kody and Robyn's choices on the children, the family, and the extended household. Her voice breaks with pure emotion, every word dropping like a sledgehammer. We have been misled, manipulated, and left vulnerable. The actions of Kody and Robyn have consequences that cannot be ignored. And today, we face the truth. The tension is almost unsustainable. All members of the Brown family are in shock, and the courtroom is a pressure cooker waiting to blow. Robyn slumps in her seat, reeling under the deluge of revelations. Kody sits blankly, the dread of possible complete collapse setting in. All plans, all defenses, all moves have been neutralized by the overwhelming power of exposure. At day's end, the judge hands down a final foreboding remark. Tomorrow we will consider the ultimate financial impact and render a decision for everyone involved. Be warned, the fallout will be wide-reaching and far-reaching. Kody and Robyn exit the courtroom, the weight of the coming verdict on them. The sun outside appears impossibly bright, almost taunting. Robyn relies on Kody for support, but even their mutual strength appears flimsy. The empire they have created is on the edge, and tomorrow it could all disappear. The courthouse is electric with anticipation, almost humming, as Kody and Robyn settle in for the last day of the trial. The air is heavy, heavy with tension, as if the walls themselves are breathing in unison. The world keeps on turning outside, blissfully ignorant, but in here, history is about to be made, and it will not be flattering to the Browns. Robyn's fingers grip the sheets of paper she has practiced 100 times, while Kody stiffly sits with tight jaw, racing thoughts. Every move, every look, every sentence counts now. The judge walks in, his robe flowing behind him, demanding silence at once. His look is weighty and unrelenting, fixed squarely on the couple that has filled headlines and family conversations for decades. We will embark on the last review, he declares. This session will lay out the fate for everyone involved. I implore you to listen attentively. Kody edges forward, a glimmer of hope flashing on his face, but it's instantly replaced by the harsh reality that hope cannot reverse what has already transpired. Robyn's breathing is shallow, her knuckles white with her clutch on the table's edge. This is the moment they've been dreading, the reckoning they can't escape. The courtroom is hushed as the first witness is brought before it, a financial analyst who has painstakingly gone through every account, transaction, and clandestine transfer that the Browns are connected to. Your Honor, the analyst starts, voice steady but authoritative. The level of unstated financial moves by Kody and indirectly, laxity by Robyn, in this case is unprecedented. The financial losses to the family and the mismanagement of assets, joint assets in fact, are significant and deliberate. Robyn gasps sharply, and every head in the room turns to stare at her. Kody's face clenches, veins throbbing in his temple. He attempts to keep his cool, but his eyes reveal fear. The first genuine fear that he has clearly shown in years. When all the secrets are exposed, even the most powerful can be reduced to powerlessness. Will Kody and Robyn make it through this ultimate judgment? The pressure mounts as Meri testifies for the last time. Her gaze is stern, unyielding, and determined. For years she testifies, we've suffered lies, secrecy, and shattered trust. Today we are not here to assail. We are here to demand responsibility. Kody and Robyn's actions have risked the family, emotionally and financially. Justice must be served. Robyn swallows. Her head flashes through all her previous choices, all her fiscal mistakes, all times when she had trusted Kody without reservation. The burden of her culpability is nigh on impossible to bear. And yet even now she fights to find common ground between the woman she believed she was, and the truth standing in front of her. Kody takes her hand, yet even their flesh and blood contact feels tenuous, as if unable to weather the tempest descending upon them. Christine moves forward, her voice firm, crisp, and passionate. This is not personal revenge, this is truth. For too long Kody has manipulated and controlled, and Robyn has let him do it, knowingly or unknowingly. The excuses are finished. It's time for accountability, and the repercussions will be great. The courtroom is silent in anticipation as the judge deliberates step by step through the evidence again. He explains the monetary consequences in excruciating detail: secret accounts, misused funds, unauthorized transfers, and sustained acts of dishonesty. Every new revelation hits like a hammer blow. And Kody, even the most tightly managed empires can fall when secrets are revealed. And the Browns are paying the ultimate cost. The last of the testimony comes from a longtime quiet family insider, a witness to decades of the Browns' lives. His tone is subdued, but the words hold all the weight of reality.
I sat for years watching Kody and Robyn manipulate, embezzle money, and hide things from the rest of the family. Today it's evident that the damage caused can't be undone, and full restitution and accountability are required. There is no other option. Robyn's lips quiver as tears slide down her face. Kody sits back in his chair, his eyes fixed emptily on the table between them. The dawning realization is crushing. All their meticulously laid plans, all their chess-like moves, have resulted in this inevitable breakdown. Their reputation, power, and financial stability have been torn apart in the court, the family, and the world's sight. The judge then finally leans forward, holding the gavel, and gives the verdict. In consideration of all testimonies and evidence, the court holds Kody Brown and Robyn Brown completely responsible for the concealment and mismanagement of family assets. The couple will surrender all the controversial funds, restitution will be paid, and further legal actions will ensure transparency in the future. The court strongly states that these rulings are final. The words strike like thunder. Robyn disintegrates utterly, tears streaming down as she buries her face in her hands. Kody's shoulders sag, the mask of control and arrogance that had been his for so long entirely abandoned. For an instant there is silence, a silence so heavy that it seems almost holy, a moment before the storm's tale begins to unfold. In that moment, the Brown dynasty, long considered impregnable, is exposed, and the price of dishonesty becomes all too real. The courtroom slowly clears, the whispers of the verdict remaining in the walls. Outside, there are reporters swarming, cameras flashing as they catch every tear, every look, every second of destruction. The public sits in rapt attention as the empire of one of reality television's most infamous families falls apart before their very eyes. Kody and Robyn emerge from the courthouse, faces pale and tear-stained. The Utah sun is now cruel, almost brutal. Robyn leans on Kody, but even that support seems tenuous. The burden of responsibility bearing down on them. The financial and emotional repercussions will take months, maybe years, to fully take in, and their previously unimpeachable public image is forever changed. Meri, Janelle, and Christine go their separate ways, relief, satisfaction, and lingering sorrow in their faces. For them, justice has been done, but the emotional wounds of betrayal still linger. They have taken back power, taken back authority, and faced the painful reality. But the price of the journey is evident in every silent look, every languid sigh. Justice can be done, but the wounds to the emotions remain, and the Brown family will never be the same. In the last few minutes, Kody and Robyn sit silently in their vehicle, the gravity of it all bearing down. There are no words to say. The silence is deafening. They have lost everything: control, money, trust. Their kingdom is lost. The dawning is devastating, almost too much to bear. But in its stark truth, there is a fact they can't deny. Actions have consequences, and secrets always emerge. As the camera pans back, the desert sun stretches shadows across the courthouse steps. The Brown family epic has come to a heartbreaking end, but the lessons remain, of loyalty, power, and the cost of human betrayal. What would you do in Robyn or Kody's position? Fight, flee, or weather the storm? Share your opinion in the comments below on this jaw-dropping courtroom meltdown.